Yo, 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 yo. What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, everybody? What's going on? They say, what goes on? What the goes on? What goes on? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday. We are getting the other device up and running, getting it settled. We are going live everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, and now once this goes down, Instagram is lit. What? Technology, man. Technology be jacked up sometimes. What's the deal? What's the deal? Okay, it's not uh over. They canceled me for a second, but can't keep a good guy down. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Peace and love. Happy Wednesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Share this live with a few of your friends, few people in your network who may be interested in tuning in. Hit that share button. Hit that share button. Hit that share button. What is the deal? What is going on? I was looking for something, and I don't know where it went. Okay, we could take this out. Boom, it might be there. Yes, there it is. There it is, what I was looking for. Yo, listen, it's been a crazy couple of days. Life is happening at a very, very, very fast rate, but it is happening, and we give thanks for it because it cannot be happening, and we will be sad, right? If life was not happening, if we were not here still, a lot of us, if you could have an emotion with being gone, a lot of us would not be happy. We would not be happy with the life that we have lived, right? Most people are not happy. Most people are not happy, not because they don't have good lives, but because they're not fulfilled, right? They're not fulfilled in their life. They're not doing what they want to do every single day. They're not living life on their terms. They're living a lot of times on the terms of their employers, on the terms of their families, on the terms of their government, right? Which is all very real, understanding, but we want more for people, man. So like, live life on your terms. That is the push to get in a position where you can live life how you want to live life. Sefu Sankofa, what's going on? Peace and love, tuning in on the Q8 in East New York, Brooklyn. Q8, East New York, Brooklyn. My brother be moving and grooving on these mornings. Peace and love. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Even in your travels, even in as you are going to and fro, you always tune in, man. And I'm really, really, really grateful for that, for you. April is Jazz Appreciation Month. April is a lot, man. Jazz Appreciation Month. I believe April is Poetry Month, right? If I'm not mistaken, April is Second Chance Month. April is, I think, Sexual Assault Survivors Month, right? There's a lot happening this month, man. There's a lot happening. And throughout the month, we'll talk about it all. But let's get the show started. Once again, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Martha. You are tuned in to episode 336 of SR Daily. SR Daily is where personality meets enlightenment. SR Daily is where personality meets enlightenment. We are here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. We had another platform. We had to get rid of that platform because that platform kept restricting my access, kept restricting my viewership, kept playing pretty much with my content because I talk real stuff. I talk real life stuff that's not always easy to talk about, stuff that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but I talk about on my platforms, right? Like suicide. We talk about drug addiction, drug use, right? Not to glorify at all. We talk about all of the things, man. We talk about all of the things. Yo, Eddie Kruger, what's going on, my brother 2.0? I heard you gave up your career and moved back to Houston, got a job, my brother. That's what I heard. That's the word on the streets. That's the word on these Instagram streets, is that Eddie Kruger, a.k.a. Copperware the Kruger, was leaving New York, going back to Houston, giving up rapping, going to get a job as a dishwasher and a sneaker cleaner. That's what I heard, my brother. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, God. But yo, man, we're going to get the show started with our first segment. Today's first segment of the day is a quote of the day, and today's quote is a very simple quote, yet it is a true quote, and it rings true through so many in so many capacities, through so many variations and iterations, man. Today's quote is, you never truly know someone. Now, there's a lot you could put behind that. You never truly know someone until you live with them. You never truly know someone until they don't need you. You never truly know someone, right? There's a lot that could go behind that, a lot. But I think that the first part of this statement, you never truly know someone. And this is a statement in itself. And it is true because you could be married to somebody for 30, 40 years. And depending on the situation that arises, it can be completely different than every other situation. And they can show you a side of them that you did not expect. That happens. It has happened. It happens. It will most likely happen again in the future. And so, yeah, we never truly know somebody, man. We never truly know people. I believe actually that as much validity as this statement has, I think we kind of do know people. Only if you really know yourself. Because if you know yourself, right, like you know that although you may be a certain way 99.999% of the time, of a certain situation, a certain circumstance may make you do something different, think something different, behave in a way that is different than how you've been. That's possible. For example, if you are a very, very, very peaceful, forgiving, understanding, let bygones be bygones, turn the other cheek person, if you are that type of person and you've been that way for your whole life, 50 years, 60 years, and you're married and you have children, and one of your children gets murdered, you may throw all that out the window. And you may have been peaceful when they broke in your home. You may have been peaceful when they hit your car and there was road rage. You may have been peaceful if you're a man when they disrespected your wife, right? You may have been peaceful. You may have been like bygones be bygones, turn the other cheek. It's not that serious. But somebody murdered your child, that can turn you into a different person. You can say, I never expected that. I never expected that person to do that. That's real. You never know until you know. And a lot of times you don't know until it's too late. You never really know until you know. And sometimes too often you don't know until it's too late. You don't even know yourself. You could have been a certain way, and something happens and you do something different and you shock yourself. You shock and surprise yourself. So you never truly know somebody, right? This is why we are always in the ever learning process. This is why we should never be getting comfortable with our spouses, with our friends, right? Get comfortable in the sense that relax around them, be free around them, yes, but never get comfortable thinking you fully know a person. Because a person could switch, a person could change, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You switched up. I was supposed to, like, my life changed. Like, I was supposed to do something different. I was supposed to stop coming around because I had a child. I can't hang out all day and all night now with you guys. I got a family. I got a baby. I got to make some money. I got a gig, whatever the case may be, right? But you never truly know somebody. And I think that people say that a lot of times with I believe, a negative connotation. I like to use this in a positive light, right? Or rather, what I'm saying is that because you never truly know somebody, it can put you in a position to forever be learning someone. And that's the beauty of life, to always be in a position and with the mindset to learn somebody, to learn from somebody, to continue to get to know people. Like, we are all continuously in the getting to know each other stage, right? Because again, life changes, situation changes, finances changes, health changes, perspectives change, knowledge changes, right? Or knowledge is upgraded, understanding changes, right? What you understood before, you like, no, not no more, right? So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. You never truly know somebody. Doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing or a bad thing. It can, again, just with a certain mindset, allow you to be a student, and to continue to strive to be a better listener when you're around people who you love, a better communicator, listening and speaking and processing and all of that stuff, right? But let's move right along to our second segment of the day. Today's second segment, our Needs to Know News of the Day. Needs to Know News is something I heard about it yesterday. I didn't know what was going on prior, but last night it was all over social media. And mind you, there's a lot of news to talk about, but this is history now. Senator Cory Booker from Newark, New Jersey, set the record for the longest ever recorded speech on the Senate floor. He spoke for more than 24 hours yesterday and broke the record set by the guy who opposed the Civil Rights Act, I believe, in 1957. Well, let's read the article. Why the freak was he talking for 24 hours straight? Like, why? Let's read it, because somebody said something. A brother who I got some respect for from Harlem, he shared it, and he said something about it that I thought when I read it was pretty funny, right? So yeah, but to pull up this article, and we're gonna read this from NPR, man. Cory Booker breaks 68-year-old Senate record with a 25-hour speech. This is updated this morning at 7:17 a.m. Senator Cory Booker spent the full day standing on the Senate floor delivering an impassioned speech in protest of the Trump administration's policies. His effort, which involved dozens of Senate Democrats, set a record for the longest speech on record in the chamber. Booker wiped away tears and placed his hand over his heart as fellow Democrats cheered at the end of his 25-hour, 4-minute speech. Others were seen crying, and some rushed to hug the visibly exhausted and emotional Booker. The New Jersey Democrat took the podium at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, vowing to speak for as long as I am physically able. I've been hearing from people all over my state, and indeed all over the nation, calling upon folks in Congress to do more, to do things that recognize the urgency, the crisis of the moment, Booker said in a video posted to social media beforehand. And so we all have a responsibility, I believe, to do something different, to cause, as late Representative John Lewis said, good trouble, and that includes me. He finished his speech just after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday with a tribute to Lewis, ending in the words, "Let's get in good trouble," earning a new record for lengthiest remarks delivered in the Senate. Booker's speech officially surpassed the previous record set in 1957 by noted segregationist Strom Thurmond, who filibustered for 24 hours and 18 minutes to oppose the Civil Rights Act, and it was widely viewed online. By the evening, his speech had eclipsed 350 million likes on TikTok Live, and more than 115,000 people were watching his office's live stream on YouTube. 350 million likes on TikTok. That's crazy. 350 million likes on TikTok. Yo. Like, yeah, how many people got TikTok? A freaking 500 million? Yo, that's crazy. That means everybody. I mean, I didn't like it. I don't think my fiance liked it, right? We didn't watch it, but that's crazy. 350 million likes on TikTok is crazy. TikTok Live. Well, I can say this. That's inflated numbers and likes. I was gonna say like likes, because you can like a video on live. A person can like it multiple times. So 350 million likes doesn't mean 350 million people watch. That's crazy. Anyway, Booker's speech took aim at President Trump, White House senior advisor Elon Musk. That's crazy. He's a senior advisor to the White House. And policies that he said show a complete disregard for the rule of law, the Constitution, and the needs of the American people. The speech covered a wide range of topics, from healthcare and Social Security to immigration, the economy, public education, free speech, and foreign policy. And it included portions of letters that Booker said he had received from affected constituents, as well as public comments from world leaders. In recent weeks, in just 71 days, the president has inflicted harm after harm on American safety, financial stability, the foundations of our democracy, and any sense of common decency, Booker said in his introductory remarks. These are not normal times in our nation, and they should not be treated as such in the United States Senate. Trump and Musk have not commented publicly on Booker's speech. It comes at a tense time for Booker's party. 9 Democrats joined with Republicans to advance a Trump-backed spending bill last month, preventing a government shutdown but alienating constituents who want lawmakers to push back against the president's agenda. Booker, 55, did not pull out the phone book or children's literature to read from, as some of his predecessors have done on the Senate floor. He stayed focused on the topic of Trump's agenda and how he said it is hurting everyday Americans, weaving together domestic and foreign policy concerns. In the 15th hour, he said he still had fuel in the tank. About 16 hours and 24 minutes in, Booker looked at the time and said, "We are way behind the schedule of where we wanted to be at this point." But he didn't immediately move to wrap things up. "And so to obey my staff, as senators are told to do, I want to move quickly to housing issues," he said at that point. Some 8 hours after that, as Booker was talking, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer broke in to ask him a question, as a rotating cast of Democrats have been doing all day to make his speech more of an exchange than a monologue. "I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?" Schumer asked, as the room burst into a lengthy round of applause. Booker, looking moved, wiped his face with the tissue and put his hand over his heart. Booker's achievement stands in stark contrast to Thurmond's lengthy filibuster aiming to deny Black Americans equal protections under federal law. Booker later told reporters that he had been very aware of Thurmond's efforts since entering the Senate over a decade ago. "Of all the issues that have come up, all the noble causes that people have done, or the things that people have tried to stop, I just found it strange that he had the record," said Booker, who is Black. And as a guy who grew up with legends of the civil rights movement myself, my parents and their friends, it just seemed wrong to me. It always seemed wrong. What are the rules? The use of long speeches to delay legislation known as a filibuster is a time-honored tradition in the Senate. But that's not technically what Booker's speech was, since he was not trying to block a specific bill or nominee. Under Senate rules, unless special limits on debate are in effect, a senator who has been recognized by the presiding officer can speak for as long as they wish, according to the Congressional Research Service. They usually cannot be forced to cede the floor or even be interrupted without their consent, it says. They must meet a few requirements, however. For one, the senator must remain standing and must speak more or less continuously. The Congressional Research Service states, which becomes more difficult as the hours pass. Senator Murphy posted on X on Monday night that Booker had employed an interesting tactic to that effect. Corey had a Senate page take his chair away to eliminate any temptation to sit down, he wrote just under 3 hours into the speech. Booker employed another strategy throughout the day, permitting his fellow Democrats to ask questions, which is the only way a senator can yield without losing the floor. But it's only partial relief. The senator must remain standing while others are talking. "I will yield for a question while retaining the floor," Booker responded each time a senator asked for his permission. More than a dozen Democrats participated in the proceedings throughout Tuesday morning, including Murphy, Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey, Senator Peter Welch of Vermont, Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, Senator Kristen Gillibrand of New York, Senator Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, a bunch of senators. Booker paused for a brief prayer by the Senate chaplain at noon, following a long-standing Senate rule. Chaplain Barry Black specifically thanked floor staff, Capitol Police, stenographers, the pages, and all those who have worked throughout the night. Later, after wrapping up his remarks, Booker also thanked staff, acknowledging, "I kept you up for 24 hours. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's finish reading a few more paragraphs left. Move on to the next segment. This is very important, guys. Like, this is history. Whether you like what he said, whether you heard what he said, whether you like him or not, like, this is news. What other Democrats said. The participating senators each spoke for several minutes about various issues Booker had mentioned, from Medicaid to tariffs to national security, veteran affairs, agriculture, and housing. They asked Booker questions, giving him time to elaborate on their topics of choice, and applauded his persistence. I thank the gentleman for his fortitude, his strength, and the crystalline brilliance with which he has shown the American people the huge dangers that face them with this Trump, Doge, Musk administration," Schumer said at the end of his second round of questioning on Tuesday morning, referring to the Department of Government Efficiency that Musk oversees. Booker also heaped praise to his colleagues, talking up their accomplishments and shared work experience. While the tone of his speech was somber, there were some moments of levity between lawmakers. At one point, Klobuchar, who had quoted Minnesota native Bob Dylan, asked Booker to name his favorite New Jersey musician, and he gracefully deflected. Later, while responding to Schumer's praise, Booker joked that never before in history in America has a man from Brooklyn said so many complimentary things about a man from Newark. When Schumer responded by saying they were both New York Giants fans, Booker reminded him that the team plays in New Jersey and would discuss it no further. This is not a colloquy, he said with mock seriousness as those in the room laughed. I hold the floor. I do not yield. How Booker broke the record. Fasting was involved. The longer Booker kept talking, the closer he got to the history books. His efforts surpassed more recent efforts such as those of Murphy, who led Democrats in a push for gun control legislation that lasted 15 hours after the Post nightclub shooting in 2016 in Orlando, Florida. Booker was by his side for that entire speech and said Tuesday that Murphy had returned the favor. Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas held the floor for 21 hours and 19 minutes as he advocated unsuccessfully for defunding the Affordable Care Act in 2013, more than 8 hours longer than Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky did when he filibustered John Brennan's CIA nomination months earlier. Crazy. Cruz's speech was one of the longest ever on the Senate floor, according to records shared with NPR by the U.S. Senate Historical Office. As Booker approached his record, Cruz tweeted Tuesday afternoon that he was contemplating pulling the fire alarm. The next longest was a 1953 filibuster by then independent Senator Wayne Morse of Oregon, who spoke for 22 hours and 26 minutes against an oil bill. After that, the longest filibuster on record had been Thurmond's 1957 speech, which lasted 24 hours and 18 minutes. Crazy. Media reported at the time that Thurmond sustained himself with diced pumpernickel and bits of cooked hamburger and sips of orange juice. His aide set up a bucket in a cloakroom so he could keep a foot on the Senate floor if he needed to relieve himself. Similar questions abounded about Booker's well-being on Tuesday, especially after he alluded to some biological urgencies toward the end of his speech. His communications director, Jeff Gibbs, told NPR just before the end of the speech that Booker was not wearing a catheter or a diaper, despite speculation. Yeah, that's crazy. You better not wear a diaper. Don't use the bathroom. You fast, you don't eat, and then you do the thing. Booker told reporters afterwards that he had fasted for days before the speech and stopped drinking water a long time ago. Absolutely. I think that had a good and bad benefits, he said, sounding hoarse. I definitely started cramping up from a lack of water. There's just a lot of tactics I was using to try to make sure that I could stand for that long. Absolutely. Crazy things. Speak for 24 hours. Great day, Mona Love. Thank you, my baby. Peace and love. I'm prepared for anyone to flip the script, and I'm okay with that now. I wasn't always. Be comfortable with change. Oh no, Kruger. You truly don't know someone until a crisis happens. Yeah. Yo, Sefu, Kruger was joking, man. It was an April Fool's joke, my brother. Be comfortable with change. So okay, flip the script, and I'm okay with that now. I wasn't always. Happy Wellness and Winning Wednesday. Absolutely. Happy Wellness and Winning Wednesday. Let's move right along to our third segment of the day. Today's third segment, our tip of the day. Today's tip is don't be so forgiving. Yo, saving cash for later. What's going on? Today's tip is don't be so forgiving. Now, this is a funny thing. I'm a person who I've forgiven, I think, pretty much everyone who has harmed me, as well as I've been forgiven by people I've harmed, right? A lot of people I've harmed, man, whether it was physically harmed them, whether it was mentally or emotionally harmed them, whatever it was, however I caused harm to them, for the most part, as far as I know, people have forgiven me, as well as I've forgiven others. However, I do think that, burp. I do think that we could be too forgiving, right? Being too forgiving could be a bad thing, especially when your forgiveness is directly linked in touch, or directly linked to and leads to your forgetting, and you allow yourself to then be hurt or misused again. When your forgiveness leads to your forgetting, you allow yourself to be hurt and or misused again. So be mindful. Yes, forgiveness is golden. Forgiveness is for self, not others. But you could be too forgiving. You could be too forgiving, and it could work against you, right? So just be mindful. That's really what I have to say right there. Just be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful. I think I like one of the quotes from one of the t-shirts from Urban Vegan NYC, which is Urban Vegan Kitchen, Urban Vegan Roots. They have a shirt that says, always be compassionate, never be a sucker. It's a fine line, because in your compassion, someone can take you for a sucker, but that's not you being a sucker. You being a sucker is you continuing to allow the same thing to happen over and 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 over again. So always be compassionate, never be a sucker. Don't be so forgiving. Being too forgiving can lead to your forgetfulness, and that could allow you will then be allowing yourself to be hurt or misused again. So be mindful, keep your head up, keep your heart strong, all right? Stay in touch with your heart, know what you're feeling, know what's happening there, and you move forward with grace and compassion. Right, let's move right along to our fourth and final segment of the day. Today's fourth segment, our build of the day. Our build of the day. My sister Mecca, peace and love, said that I know that's right. I ain't forgiving. Yo, it's tough, man. Again, it's tough, yo. It's tough. It's tough. It's a very tough thing. But let's move right along to our fourth segment of the day. Today's fourth segment, our build of the day. This is for grown folks. Right, this is grown folk conversation. I'm a grown person. I don't have too many young people on my page. I have a few youth, and they should be, those who are young should be in school right now. If you're not in school, yeah, because this is for grown folks. Do you want your partner, your lover, your spouse, right? Do you want your partner to be more or less experienced in the bedroom when y'all get together? Do you want your partner to be more experienced or less experienced in the bedroom? Pretty much saying, do you want them to have had a healthy, right, or an overabundance or an abundant love life, sex life prior to getting with you? Or do you want your partner to come to you pretty much a virgin, right, or have only had a few experiences that weren't really like wide range of things happening, just the intercourse, right? My fiance and I, we were chatting the other day about guy on social media, right? About a bunch of stuff on social media. But guy on social media, and I've seen guys say this. I personally don't believe them, right? I mean, maybe some, all right? I don't know. But anyway, guys on social media, or this guy particularly, saying that he wanted a virgin. His woman had to be a virgin. She had to be under 25 and a virgin. And it was like, at 41, I mean, I'm great. I'm taken, right? But at 41, hell no, I don't want that, right? Like, I don't want you at 25 or younger, right? Like, yeah. Nah, man. Like, yo, that's crazy. That's not for me. I understand some people. I understand my parent situation, right? Like, but that's not. I don't, because yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's crazy, right? Like, you want somebody 25 and under and to be a virgin. Like, what do you want? This is a lot of people, a lot of men want a woman they could control and they could mold, right? The word mold could be taken in the negative context to shape, right? Understand that you want a partner who you can shape. Yeah, what do you guys think, man? What do you want, right? What do you guys think, right? Again, like, I think that energy, I think that's little boy energy. I think that, yeah, that's energy of a little boy wanting someone you can control, someone you can manipulate, someone you could mold. It's not your child, right? And I think it's little boy energy to want your woman to have been with nobody before you. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about, man? Like, so talk to me. What do you guys think, men and women? Do you want your partner to be more or less experienced in the bedroom? Do we have any comments? Mecca said, folks love to take the kindness for weakness. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. That's unfortunate. They absolutely do. So I know that's right. I ain't forgiven. Mona Love said, it doesn't matter. We will definitely have new experiences together. I'm sure we will teach and learn from each other. Oh, so sweet, so sweet, such a sweetheart. But yeah, it's a very real conversation that happens, right? I've had this conversation in the streets, like, it has been a while, but I've had this conversation, and I've heard guys say that, like, and I've heard both sides, right? I've heard both sides, and I guess to some degree I understand it, right? I get teaching someone how you want to experience them, right? Things that you like, right? That's always going to be a new learning curve. But there's certain things I don't want to have to teach. I don't want to have to share. I don't want to have to, like, yeah, all right. yeah, so I wanted to chat about that. Right, thought it was very interesting, interesting conversation, interesting topic. Something that, again, as grown folks, we like to, especially those of us who will consider ourselves like activists and in the public eye to some degree. We don't want to talk about sex. We don't want to talk about love, making. We don't want to talk about certain things. But I'm like, we need to talk about it, right? Because like we're human and we experience it. Like, and we need to be able to talk about anything and everything freely. It needs space for us, right? Without freaking being politically correct all the time and without worrying about all the bullshit. But anyway, guys, that is the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, do something for yourself, for your mental health, for your emotional health, for your physical health, for your spiritual health, for your relationship health. All right, do something, read a book, journal, meditate, exercise. I haven't been able to exercise in about a week or some change. Back injury. Right, but feeling better day by day, still dealing with some discomfort, right? But a lot better than it was last week. Tomorrow will be better than it is today, and all that good stuff. But yo, listen, man, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm your boy, your host, Sean Sugar Marson. This is episode 336 of SR Daily. Please do remember to join us right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live for episode 337 on Thankful, Thriving, and Therapeutic Thursday. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Remember, it ain't getting knocked down. That's the problem. It's staying down. So get up. Get up. The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Peace and love. So, fool, you got to answer a question in the comments, my brother. She said, what does moderate mean? Mona Love asked the question, what does moderate mean? Please continue the conversation in the comments. Peace.